With New Year's resolutions, many of us will make a vow to eat healthier, and that's a good thing. But what about our beloved pets and their nutrition? Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black here, and I'm on a mission to provide better nutrition for cats and dogs because truthfully, all pet food is dead food, which is why we created Rough Greens and Meow Greens in the first place. We bring their food back to life with live vitamins, minerals, probiotics, enzymes, omega oils, antioxidants, and so much more. All in a tasty formula that your dog and cat will love. You can improve your pet's coat, digestion, energy, and have less vet bills. Let 2025 bring a new year and a new pet. Get a Jumpstart trial bag, normally $20. Get a 100% discount with promo code BESTFRIEND. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com, use promo code BESTFRIEND. Bring your pet's food back to life with Rough Greens. So good, your pet will ask for it by name.
Oh, sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready. No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover's here. We have expanded it 2 hours. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That was Phase 2 of the Jersey Takeover, expanding to 2 hours. Phase 3 goes into effect January 3rd of this year, where we will be moving to 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is our next step in the ultimate takeover of the airways. How's everybody doing with that stupid little promo I just did? Oh, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. So, finally, 5 hours yesterday. I don't know if anybody remembers about the game. And there was the new server coming up, and it was supposed to open at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Actually, it was longer than 5 hours. It was like 11 o'clock by the time I was able to get on. It was an absolute joke. Daybreak botched this big time. And I love this because you pay to play this game. And then when you complain and say, hey, can you tell us what's going on? Give us something. They treat you like shit over it. Like you are bothering them. How dare you say something to them? Oh, it pissed me off. It just was very infuriating. Finally got on, but I canceled my account, actually. But the server's up and running now, and it's doing good. I might re-up, I don't know. But their customer support sucked last night. I mean, it really pissed me off. I haven't been that mad in a while. But enough about the game. Let's get on politics so I can piss myself off even more. Oh, where do we want to start? Texas Democrat This Texas Democrat, Congressman Al Green, who took to the floor to chastise President Trump and call for the impeachment, said he is moving forward with impeachment. I love that because, well, they really have nothing to go on, but, hey, I'm going to go and, file impeachment charges. He said such documents must be heard during official House business within 2 days. I am currently drafting it, if you will, articles of impeachment. Green said Trump committed obstruction of justice by firing FBI Director James Comey in the midst of the Russian investigation. He added that Trump further incriminated himself by tweeting intimidating language about Comey. Oh my God, these people need to get a goddamn life. I'm being serious. They need a life. Intimidating. You called him a fucking nut job. He intimidated him. Oh my God. Freaking ridiculous. Oh. I'm utterly amazed at utterly amazed. There's no proof, no nothing. That there's any issues. There's no evidence of Russian collusion. Nothing. Drives me up a wall, these people do. They want to cry and cry and cry. Oh. No proof, nothing whatsoever. But they have nothing else to go on, so yeah. Absolutely amazing. No proof. Where? Let's see. I want to try to find. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to find. See if I can find the video of this dumbass.
With New Year's resolutions, many of us will make a vow to eat healthier, and that's a good thing. But what about our beloved pets and their nutrition? Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black here, and I'm on a mission to provide better nutrition for cats and dogs because truthfully, all pet food is dead food, which is why we created Rough Greens and Meow Greens in the first place. We bring their food back to life with live vitamins, minerals, probiotics, enzymes, omega oils, antioxidants, and so much more. All in a tasty formula that your dog and cat will love. You can improve your pet's coat, digestion, energy, and have less vet bills. Let 2025 bring a new year and a new pet. Get a Jumpstart trial bag, normally $20. Get a 100% discount with promo code BESTFRIEND. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com, use promo code BESTFRIEND. Bring your pet's food back to life with Rough Greens. So good, your pet will ask for it by name.
I want to see if I can find the video so I can give you at least the audio of this jackass, Al Green. Al Green. Sounds like a bad car salesman. I don't know why, but I hear his name and I think car salesman. Is this it?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise today with a heavy heart. I rise today.
Hold on one second. I got to get this straightened out. I found it. Dang it. I just can't hear it. Let's try this.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
There we go.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today with a heavy heart. I rise today with a sense of responsibility and duty to the people who have elected me.
Real quick, he broke the rules doing this, by the way. He broke the House floor rules.
A sense of duty to this country, a sense of duty to the Constitution of the United States of America. I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to call for the impeachment of the President of the United States of America for obstruction of justice. I do not do this for political purposes, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, you do. That's all you do it for.
I believe in the great ideals that this country stands for. Liberty and justice for all. The notion that we should have government of the people, by the people, for the people. I do it because, Mr. Speaker, there is a belief in this country that no one is above the law.
Except Democrats.
That includes the President of the United States of America.
Well, what about Hillary Clinton? She broke the law. She obstructed justice. I don't hear you calling for her arrest because she's a Democrat.
Mr. Speaker, our democracy is at risk.
Yeah, because right now the Democrats are trying to do a coup.
Mr. Speaker, this offense has occurred before our very eyes. It is perspicuous. It is easy to understand. Mr. Speaker, we are talking about a president who fired the FBI director.
Oh, my God, he fired him because he did a shitty job. He fired him because half the goddamn agents wanted to quit. Oh, my God. He fired him after hearing Democrats cry that he needed to be fired.
Who was investigating the president for his...
No, he wasn't. He was not investigating the president.
The president's election. Mr. Speaker, this is not about the president firing the FBI director because he was investigating someone else. It's because the FBI director was investigating the president himself.
Outright lie.
Firing the director, he went on to let us know that he considered the investigation when he fired him. And then he tweeted language that would be intimidation or a warning, an admonition, very strong to say the very least. Mr. Speaker, we cannot allow this to go unchecked. The president is not above the law. It is time for the American people to weigh in. Mr. Speaker, the American people are a part of this democracy. This is a participatory democracy. The American people don't participate on election day only. The American people participate daily, and this is your day to act. This is your day. I'm speaking to the American people. It is time for you to act. It is time for you to let us know where you stand. I've seen a poll that indicates that a majority now of those who are being polled are for impeachment. And I've seen another poll that says a plurality of those.
I also saw a poll that said Hillary was going to win the election by 90%.
Let the American people weigh in. The American people should speak up, speak out, stand up so that we will get a sense of what the American people want. This is not something to be taken lightly, and I do not. I think that this is one of the highest callings that a member of Congress has to address. I believe that this is where your patriotism is shown, where you demonstrate to the American people where you really stand. So,
oh my God, I love how they try to use keywords now.
For me.
Patriotism was bad.
In Congress about this. Each member of Congress has to make his or her own decision, so this is not about my encouraging other people to do things other than the American people. This is about my position. This is about what I believe. And this is where I stand. I will not be moved. The president must be impeached. For those who do not know, impeachment does not mean that the president will be found guilty. It simply means that the House of Representatives will bring charges against the president. It's similar to an indictment, but not quite the same thing.
Oh, my God. We got
is impeached,
two
then
investigations
the Senate
that have found
to determine the
nothing.
guilt
We
or
have a
innocence
special
of the president,
counsel
whether he is
investigating,
guilty or not
and then
guilty,
you
to
have
be
this
more specific.
jackass that wants another
But the House of
investigation.
Representatives
Oh, he wants to go
has a
directly
duty
to,
that it can take up, and that is of impeachment. I stand for
charges
impeachment of the
without
president.
evidence.
How can you weigh in? Well, you can contact my good friends over at Free Speech for People. And at this organization, they have a petition. The petition would allow you to weigh in and become a part of the nearly 1 million people who have already said the president ought to be impeached. You can weigh in at impeachdonaldtrumpnow.com. Impeachdonaldtrumpnow.com. And believe me, if a plurality of the people are saying it now, and that's the poll that I really put my emphasis on, the one that says a plurality believes that the president should be impeached, more than 40%. I think
40%. Oh, before it was higher than that.
Weigh in, American people, there will be a difference in the attitudes about this. I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity, because but for this opportunity, you might not hear my voice. I am a voice in the wilderness, but I assure you that history
Can you go get
will
lost?
vindicate me. I assure you that righteousness will prevail. I assure you that no lie can live forever, and truth crushed to earth will rise again. I yield back my time.
Oh, it's a good bedtime speech. Oh, my God. I am so... Ooh, what's this? I'm sorry. I love Tucker Carlson. He's... Oh, let's see. The question's being asked. Did anybody notice that CNN and MSNBC pretty much stayed quiet about the bombing in Manchester and kept pushing the propaganda of the Russian story? Let's see, what do we got here?
Well, the media hardly acquitted themselves well with their coverage of last night's bombing in Manchester. Okay, we're into understatement. It was awful. First of all, it took them a long time to shut up about Russia and actually cover it. Fox began covering the attack at 6:48 p.m. Eastern. The other two cable networks, not so much. At 7, we began covering Manchester exclusively. The other networks still leading with Russia. Chris Matthews even moved back to Russia, where you could hear people screaming in the background. Surely after a half hour, things had changed. Wrong. At 7:30, you guessed it, still on Russia. At 7:36, they still weren't covering Manchester like it was a gruesome attack. We knew it was by then, but you wouldn't know it by watching those channels. When the other media did start covering it, things weren't necessarily better. Over at CNN, analyst Paul Cruikshank took time to speculate the suicide bombing could have been a false flag by right-wingers, of course, apparently so committed to making Islam look bad, they're willing to kill themselves to do it. That's commitment, but you know the right, they're committed. Over at ABC, Martha Raddatz commented that Manchester was a surprising target because, we're quoting now, Manchester did not vote in favor of Brexit, as if the attack would be more understandable if the city had voted for Brexit. Not impressive. Joe Concha writes about the media for The Hill, and he joins us tonight. Joe, did you watch it last night? What'd you think?
I have a fortress of solitude down in my basement, Tucker, that allows me to watch 4 TVs at once. It's on Twitter. You can see pictures of it. So I'm able to watch
you
CNN.
Poor man.
Yeah, it's more for fantasy football, but also for my job as well. And look, there are some numbers around this that are just stunning. 105 minutes during the 7 p.m. hour, this is according to an MRC study, was spent on Trump in Russia on CNN and MSNBC. Just 50 minutes on an attack, grotesque, as you says, in the city of a Western ally, where women and children, young girls going to a concert are killed. Any community access producer or manager would know in that situation that once this story broke at 6:48, it is full stop. There is no other story to cover. But this just shows you that it's media malfeasance marinated in myopia. Alliteration aside, this is what happens now when you're so locked into one story that you miss a story like this where everything should have gone away and this should have been the only thing that was covered.
Look, I mean, you know exactly. I've been doing this a long time. You've been covering it a long time. You know exactly what happened. Their formula is working. Their viewers think that Donald Trump is a marionette controlled by Vladimir Putin. They think this because they're being told it by the anchors over there who are spinning these incredibly complex and insane conspiracy theories. And they're getting good numbers by doing that. And so they don't even a terror attack won't get them off it because they're completely addicted to the drug of ratings. I mean, that's what it is.
It's not only what journalism looks like in 2017, Tucker, it's what it sounds like. And more importantly, it's what it smells like, and it sticks to your boots. Look, I agree with you that it's good for business, but if you look at the numbers last night, at 9 o'clock, for instance, Fox, Shepard Smith nearly doubled Rachel Maddow in what's called the key demographic that advertisers covet most. So, look, people they want their news. And I remember CNN, when I was growing up, it was the only game in town. Fox and MSNBC didn't come around until 1996. And I forget who said it, but somebody compared it to a spare tire. That you could always count.
It goes to show, and to get people to believe a lie, you have to push it nonstop. You have to keep repeating it. And that's why they keep pushing this Russia. They ignore actual news because they have to push the lie for it to become the truth. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
you got a business. That you didn't build that.
A team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cat for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. This doesn't make sense. This is the left. This is the idiots trying to protect the terrorists, covering up everything about them. And it just, when you try to cover up the facts, you're covering up what they've done, what they're about. Majority of the adults in this world can understand that there is an extremism within the Muslim religion. Okay. Now, you have the Labour mayor of Greater Manchester has claimed the suicide bomber who killed 22 was not a Muslim, insisting that the worst things that can happen is people blaming Muslims. No, the worst thing that could happen was 22 of your citizens were murdered, and you're trying to cover up the criminals' motives. Andy Burnham, a former Labour frontbencher who was elected mayor this month, insists that the attacker claimed by ISIS state had nothing to do with Islam. He went to a mosque. He was a practicing Muslim. But because it doesn't fit their narratives, they just, nope, we say he wasn't a Muslim, so he's not a Muslim. He does not represent the Muslim community. We've got to keep that distinction in mind all the time. This was an unspeakable act. The worst thing that can happen is that people use this to blame an entire community, the Muslim community. Nobody's blaming all of Muslim. I don't hear. I don't blame all of Muslim community. I can see the distinction between the two. But sure as hell, if there was a Christian doing this, they would be chastising and accusing all of Christianity of doing it. There's a double standard. In my view, the man who committed this atrocity no more represents the Muslim community than the individual who murdered my friend Joe Cox represents the white Christian community. Was he out there saying he did it in the name of Christ and screaming, Christian battle hymns? No. Do they have a manifesto that says that they're doing this and using parts of the Bible? No. We're not saying this is an extreme Muslim problem because, well, he just happens to be Muslim. No. They're using Muslim texts to justify their actions. Similarly, following the Westminster knife and car attack, Prime Minister Theresa May said the Islamist attack on Parliament was not Islamic. Oh, I'm going to need help on this damn name. Hang on, I got to get the second wife out. Oh, now I can't even type. Damn. Oops.
Hurrah, Rafiq. Hurrah, Rafiq.
Yeah, hurrah, Rafiq. The CEO of the Anti-Extremism Quilliam Foundation, which has advised the government, accused Mr. Burnham of basically doing what ISIS is doing. He said by declaring that the terrorist is a non-Muslim, he had excommunicated Salman Abedi, which is known as a shit. Man, I got some
Takfiri,
which is known as a takfiri in Islam and widely practiced by extremists. Mr. Hang on, Mr.
Rafiq.
Mr. Rafiq said the Manchester attack has something to do with some interpretation of Islam, speaking on the Skynet, adding, what we must not do anymore is turn around and say this person is not a Muslim because he was practicing a form of Islamist. Salafi jihadist Islam, and that's something we need to tackle head on. You don't sit there because you don't want to face it. You don't deny you have cancer and hope it goes away. You don't ignore cancer and hope it goes away. You don't talk nicely to cancer and hope it goes away. You attack cancer to make it go away. He also said there is no such thing as a lone wolf. Predicting the terrorist was part of a network, he claimed every single jihadist terrorist has been part of a globally inspired Islamist ideology. Oh, and by the way, this guy wasn't a lone wolf. A term they love to throw around nowadays. There's I think 7 people now arrested in conjunction with this jackass. His father, his brother were arrested. Many have said that he does not have the know-how or the ability to build that bomb, that there is a bomb maker, which is very common, that they have someone, his job is just to make bombs, and they're highly regarded within this terrorist community. The bomb maker does not go out and blow himself up. The bomb maker makes the bombs and has some schmuck. Okay, I'm gonna go get 72 virgins. I'm gonna go blow myself up. That's not the person who makes bombs. Listen, no offense, women. I would not want 72 virgins. Hell no. Hell no. That's a lot of teaching and a lot of conniving and a lot of puppy dog love afterwards. Oh, it's male or female. When you lose your virginity to somebody, the infatuation that it is placed on you after that, it's almost psycho at some points. So, yeah, I wouldn't want 50 or 72 virgins. Maybe it's 72 Virginians. I don't know. But denying what the man is helps cover up the motive behind why they're doing it. And when you cover that up, you start covering up the facts and how to deal with it. It doesn't fit their narrative, so they want it removed. You had, who was it, Senator Murphy, trying to claim that the Muslims were being put into segregation when it's the Muslims who are segregating themselves from everybody. It's an absolute joke. I think I reported on it earlier in the week. Associated Press had put an article out there that basically bashed some Republicans and Kellyanne Conway. Immediately, the Republicans and Kellyanne Conway disputed the article, said that it was a non-press event, that the Associated Press hired an activist to sneak in and report false information. Associated Press immediately denied, played the whole, oh, woe is me. Well, the Associated Press has now fired that quote-unquote reporter because of their leftist activism. They tried to cover up the fact that this activist broke the rules of the Associated Press. And now they're trying to backtrack a little bit, but they're not admitting their wrongdoing. They're still trying to cover it up. There is now, because the Associated Press tried to deny that they knew this was a non-press event. Which turned into an outright lie. There's now voicemail recordings. There's a bunch of information that's coming out proving the AP is a liar. AP has been infested with left-wing scumbags. And they've been no better than CNN or MSNBC. It's been proven time and time again. And they have rules that say that there's supposed to be no any type of activism by their reporters. They cannot make any political comments anywhere on their personal social accounts. That's part of the contract that you take when you take employment with the AP. You cannot make political comments on your Twitter, your Facebook. You're supposed to remain neutral. Well, this woman had she worked for Salon, if that tells you anything. She's not a reporter. She's an activist. And there is a lot of activism this woman's doing, left-wing activism. The AP for several days refused to correct the error until it faced public pressure on the matter. Later, on Wednesday afternoon, the wire service issued a correction. That means the AP, after days of saying AP stands by its reporting, has completely changed direction by correcting the inaccuracy and terminating the perpetrator of those inaccuracies for violations of editorial standards. They lied about what happened in the get-together. They lied about the amount of people. It was an outright hit piece by activists. It's the left is losing their mind. And, I've been very strong about the left is going down. I don't know. Just lately, I've been a little worried that the left is too many people are drinking the Kool-Aid. It's got me a little worried of late. I'll tell you that right now. A little worried of late. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to play a quick clip from Ted Nugent, who was on Fox News. What was he on? The Fox News specialist. And talking about the mainstream media.
Stephen is getting the big picture. it's not just individuals. It's a whole army of media individuals that are out for blood. They're so left, they're so in the Democrat tank that they are going to attack the president and anything Republican or anything right side in such a consistent fashion that it is an overwhelming tsunami of fake news, attack mode, with no basis. So it's not just individuals in this day and age. It's an overall movement. And the movement of the media and academia and the left and the Democrats overall is just Saul Alinsky berserk. So if you can find some individuals who are not guilty of that, be sure you give me a call on that.
Let me bring Ebony.
I forget who he was. I mean, that's Eric Boland's show, and he has several guests. Trying to find. I don't know the guy's name. He's an ESPN commentator. And one thing about Ted Nugent is you're not going to speak louder than him. You're not going to interrupt him. You're not going to speak over him. He will just keep on going. Just like the Reaver of Common Sense. And we will be right back after this message.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cap for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the Unpleasant Blind Guide. because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. Sal Alinsky Berserker Fest. What's best is they sit there and, look at that. They accuse us of using Sal Alinsky. Oh, that's so funny. And what are they doing? They're doing exactly what we're accusing them of. It's a blind man could see this. I hate to say it that way, but a blind man could see this. Oh. So, speaking in Berlin on Thursday, ex-President Barack Obama pushed for continued globalism and heaped praise on German Chancellor Angela Merkel. There's the competing narrative of fear and xenophobia and nationalism and intolerance and anti-democratic trends, said Obama, discussing democracy and global responsibility with the Chancellor. Well, right there tells me that our fears of globalism is true, because it's not going to be a democracy. It's not. We have to push back against those trends that would violate human rights or suppress democracy, or that would restrict individual freedoms of conscience and religion. Wait a minute. This is a guy who has attacked Christians, who has attacked anybody who had a free mind and thought of their own. And he wants to talk about freedoms of conscience and religion? That man is so full of shit, it's not funny. Just go out, have him. You got a farm? Invite Obama to come speak to your crops, because they'll be fertilized with such shit that comes out of his mouth. Oh my God, this man. And there's still people that believe his dumbass. In this new world we live in, we can't isolate ourselves. We can't hide behind a wall, but we can protect ourselves, something you did not do. You ignored the threat and made the threat worse. You are the reason, Obama, 22 people are dead in the UK. You are directly responsible for ISIS, Obama. You and Hillary Clinton are directly responsible. You created this mess and ignored it. You allowed it to fester up, to become stronger than it should have. You had a chance to squash it before it became the juggernaut it is. So when you speak, only thing that you should be saying and Hillary should be saying is, I'm so sorry. I'm responsible. Your globalism, Obama, you could shove it right up your ass. I am an American. I am a citizen of the United States of America. I am not Canada. I am not Mexico. I have no problem with Canada or Mexico. I want them to be proud of their country. I want Britons to be proud of being British. French to be proud of being French. So forth and so on. We are a world of nations. You could take your global government, your global economy, And again, shove it up your ass. Respectfully. We won't be hiding behind a wall. That's what you do. When you go home, you hide behind a wall, a bubble. You are protected behind a nice, comfy wall, Obama. Hillary is protected behind a wall. Congress is protected behind a wall. So you want to talk about we shouldn't hide behind a wall? That's all you've done for 8 years now, you hypocritical, sorry excuse for a mouthpiece. Let me tell you something. There's a lot that said they'd be on the right side of history. Now that history is written, because he told Merkel that she is on the right side of history. Yeah, there's a lot. Stalin, Mussolini, Hitler, Genghis Khan. They all thought they'd be on the right side of history. But when history was written, they weren't. You go on to say, in the eyes of God, a child on the other side of the border is no less worthy of love and compassion than my own child. Still doesn't mean we have to be different nations. We can't have our secure borders. I don't see you giving up millions of dollars of your money to help people, but I see you trying to give other people's money away still. You created a mess with your health care. And you talk about you were able to get 20 million people health care who didn't have health care. And you almost double that with people that lost their health care. And then fined them for not having health care. You created corporations that took in money, but people couldn't afford to use the product. You created that. You didn't create health care. You created an ATM machine for these CEOs of health care. In most psychopath minds, they think they're doing the right thing. Just as you think you're doing the right thing, Obama. Well, my view, history puts you down as the worst president. A president that knew how to talk, but was no action. You flapped your gums a lot, and all that came out was a lot of hot air. You don't even know how to be respectful and go off into the sunset. This is how bad you hurt your party that they can't survive without you. When Reagan was done his term, yeah, I know his health wasn't that great, but he still went on. Bush, even Bill Clinton, pretty much faded into the sunset. You don't have the decency to give Americans that respect. I didn't respect you as a president, and I don't respect you now. Because all you are is a mouthpiece, a puppet. You are a puppet of Russia. You are a puppet of Soros. When you talk, I see Soros' lips moving, but I still haven't found where his hand is. you sit there and you have the balls to talk about Syria. You caused most of that war in Syria with your mouth and failure to act. And you had the balls to come out and say, at least we tried to stop violence in Syria. You did nothing. You sat on your hands and did nothing. And you said, despite our best efforts, that was your best effort of doing nothing. Your effort was shit. You told the audience that the atrocities in Syria have haunted you since we first started seeing the civil war break out. Try having the haunting dreams of the civilians that are living that atrocity that you could have done something about, but you didn't have the balls to do it. This is a red line. If they cross it, oh shit, he crossed. This is a red line. If they cross it, oh shit. I didn't say anything about a red line. No, that wasn't me. I'm just giving a little replay of Obama a couple years ago with Syria. That was your best effort? This is not simply something that we can, wait a minute. This is not simply something that we from the outside alone can solve. He went on to say, on this continent within the Christian religion, there was a whole lot of conflict for a long time as well. This is part of the original sin, it appears. But when you sat in office, you blamed us for 8 years. You apologized to us for 8 years. Yes, the Middle East has been at war for thousands of years, and they'll continue. You still did nothing. Nothing at all. What is your great legacy? You destroyed our economy. You destroyed our health care. You forced American citizens to buy a product that they couldn't use. I'd be real proud of that. Oh, so proud. Oh, don't tell me. Now, I didn't think they could do this anymore. A veterans group is fighting an HOA which limits the display of the American flag. Georgia Community HOA told them flags could only be displayed on 23 specific days of the year. No, there's actually a federal law that prohibits that and says that you can fly a flag. The only time an HOA can interfere is if it is interfering with safety. Got a little clip for you.
Fought for our freedom, but some veterans in Georgia don't have the freedom to fly their American flags. A homeowners association now telling residents that they can only fly their flags those 23 days of the year. Mother's Day is on there, Father's Day is not. Our next guest says that there is no way that they are following those rules. Joining us now, two of the veterans that are fighting back that live in that community. You have Navy veteran Tom Wilder and Air Force veteran Pete Rocket. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate that. Pete, I'll start with you. What was your response to this?
I was dismayed initially. When we moved into the neighborhood a year ago, it was okay to fly the American flag, and my wife and I mounted one on our house. We had one on our house all of our lives. And we were shocked a couple of months ago when we got a letter that said we were in violation of the covenants. And that we needed to take the flag down. I did not take the flag down, and it's still up.
Tom, what was your reaction?
I was extremely upset. That's a polite way of putting it.
We saw an interview with you. A local reporter did an interview, and that's why we had you guys on, because this was brought to our attention. And we saw that, Tom, you said that flag is going to fly until you die. What about the repercussions? Because these HOA laws are so strong, they can actually take your house.
I'm under the impression they can only take my house if there is a tax lien on the house. I don't know what kind of lien they can place on our home. I will say my wife is concerned, but if I've got to defend it, then I've got a good friend in Bob Barr, and Bob's an attorney, and he's never run from a fight, as we all know.
All right, well, you all got an email from the Homeowners Association, and this was the loophole statement in that letter. These guidelines help maintain the aesthetic and architectural theme of the community. What is so wrong about the American flag, Pete? Why don't they want that flag flying?
That's my question. How can you say that the American flag detracts from the looks, the aesthetics of a community? They treat it by limiting it to the holidays as if it's a decoration, like Christmas decorations. You can put up Christmas decorations on these days. Well, the American flag's not a decoration. It's a symbol, and it's a symbol of a lot of things to a lot of people. I fly it because I served. I fly it because a lot of my buddies served and lost their lives. I fly it because my father-in-law and my father served, and my son-in-law's done 5 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan already. It would be a travesty to take that flag down.
Tom, I'll give you the last word.
I'm not going to take it down. I fought for our flag and our country, and I will continue to fight for our flag and our country, no matter what.
Thank you both for your service. Thank you for being here, and thank you for continuing to fly the flag.
That is an absolute travesty of justice. And you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cap for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco and Here's the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover's here. This is phase 2, people. And we have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. But starting July 3rd, Phase 3 of the Jersey Takeover goes into effect as we move to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday till 11 p.m. So, be there. Be there. Be there. July 3rd, big move, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, I don't know how to end that bit, but it's done. The annual National Puerto Rican Day Parade has fallen into turmoil as sponsors and fire and police representatives dropped their sponsorship over the parade committee's decision to use the event to honor Oscar Lopez Rivera, a convicted terrorist. A convicted terrorist whose sentence President Barack Hussein Obama commuted and who was released this month. Now, the New York Yankees, Coca-Cola, JetBlue, AT&T, Goya have all pulled out of the June 11th parade because of this week, in the wake of the parade committee's decision to award Lopez Rivera, an activist who enabled acts of terrorism in the name of Puerto Rican independence, the title of National Freedom Hero. Goya alone yanked $200,000 from the parade. In addition to sponsors backing out, you have representatives from the city's fire police department. New York City Police Department confirmed that Commissioner J.P. O'Neill will not attend the event over the decision to honor a terrorist, while the NYPD, FDNY's Hispanic Society have both withdrawn from the parade. The union representing New York's firefighter also withdrew its support. Now, the controversy centers around one man, Lopez Rivera, whose role as a key member of the radical Marxist Armed Forces of National Liberation, Fallon. Did I still have my wife up? Yes. Let's see.
FALN.
Okay. I was seeing if it can actually pronounce it. It can't. Haha. Which conducted more than 100 bombings in the United States in the 70s and 80s. 100 bombings on U.S. soil. Killing five people, injuring dozens, and causing millions of dollars worth of damage. Lopez Rivera was convicted on charges of transporting guns and bombs, but yet he was released this month after serving 35 years because Obama commuted his sentence in January. When he was released, Lopez denied being a terrorist and thanked the governments of Venezuela and Cuba for their support, while reiterating the right for colonized people to use force. Quote, "Let me say this. We are a colonized people, and according to international law that says all colonized people have a right to struggle for its independence using all methods within reach, including force. That is a right." I don't know who the hell he's talking about. You know, Puerto Rico has no problem. They're running to the United States for money because they're broke. They have no problem taking U.S. protection. They were given a vote on whether they wanted statehood or stay a territory, and they chose, or even leave. They could have left. They chose to stay as a territory. We are not holding them hostage. This is Puerto Rico's choice. So there is no fight for colonized people. Puerto Rico can go fuck off anytime it wants. I don't have a problem with Puerto Rico, but if it don't want to be a part of the United States, bye-bye. See ya. Go fend for yourself. In the statement this month, the parade organizers stood by their decision to honor Lopez Rivera, whom they conceded was a controversial figure who does not represent all Puerto Ricans. But if he does not represent all, then how could he be a national freedom hero? How can he be a national freedom hero when they are free already? Now, here's the kicker. Some people call him a terrorist, while others think of him as a freedom fighter, as was the case with Nelson Mandela. They're comparing this jackass to Nelson Mandela. The organizers said the intention was to honor those who worked to have his sentence commuted and to raise awareness about Oscar Lopez Rivera's story, the grave colonial situation in Puerto Rico, and the identity questions that continue to arise even today. What fucking question? We're not holding them hostage. We're not holding them as slaves. In fact, they get more out of the deal than we do. They get billions and billions of U.S. dollars. And what do we get? A bigger tax bill. If they want to go bye-bye, sign the paperwork, put a boot in their ass, and send them on their way. The organizer said the intention was to honor those who worked to have his sentence commuted and to raise awareness. Yeah. Nevertheless, Oscar's participation is not an endorsement of the history that led to his arrest, nor any forms of violence, but rather a recognition of a man and a nation's struggle for sovereignty. What struggle? What struggle? They're not being held captive. We didn't send our military in there and take them over. They can go bye-bye any goddamn time they want. They voted to stay. They, Puerto Rico, voted to stay a territory. The man is a goddamn terrorist, and they're trying to justify it. And what's worse, New York City jackass mayor Bill de Blasio says he still intends to march in the parade. The parade committee made a choice this year on someone to honor, de Blasio said. That does not change the basic nature of the parade. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It goes from being a parade about Puerto Rico and its people to being about a terrorist. And you're supporting that terrorist. That makes you a traitor, Blasio. It's sick. The left continues to protect terrorists, all different sorts of them, and criminals. That's who they're protecting. That's who they stand up for. Well, Bob Woodward is who's a veteran Washington Post reporter of the Watergate fame, said the press has a kind of smugness about President Donald Trump. When asked about press smugness, Woodward said, "Yes, I think that is a giant problem. Our television particularly, you will see a White House correspondent deliver a report and then say the Trump White House said, and then there's a kind of smug smile, which is the correspondent undermining what the White House says. And there may be grounds for that, but it should be reported. It should be straight." He added, "I think there are so many people that are treating the Trump presidency as if it's a tryout, as if it's provisional. I was reading a column this morning that said Trump half won the presidency because he did not get the popular vote. He is president. Odds are he is probably going to be president for the full term, 4 years, and maybe even more. There's hyperventilation. There is this kind of sense of too many people writing things like, when is the impeachment coming? How long will it last? Will he make it through the summer and so forth? No, there may be stuff that comes, but it has to be hard evidence. I worry for the business, and I worry for the perception of the business by people. Not to just Trump supporters, but people that see that kind of smugness that they are talking about. You know, he was elected. The Constitution says he gets a full term." They, again, choose to ignore law, choose to ignore the rules, and make up their own as they go along like little children do. How much more should the American people be putting up with? Because more and more I talk to, a lot of people are not backing this bullshit. Most of the people are ignoring the media, ignoring the bullshit that is going on. They're not dealing with this. Now, there was a headline in the Washington Examiner.
No matter what President Trump...
Ow, 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 ow. Tell you what, we're going to carry this on the other side of the break, and won't even play the clip without blowing my eardrums out. Or yours. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. I think we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cap for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its host, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. I'll just let you know I won't be here tomorrow. It's my daughter's last day of school, and I got to pick her up early, so. And then it'll be about 4 more weeks, and on to the nighttime. Back to my comfortable spot. Back to my vampire ways. So on this article, the headline in Washington Examiner was rather eye-catching. At this rate, it won't matter if Trump colluded with Russia. It won't matter? Hasn't that been the subject of a huge swath of media coverage for many months now? I'm going to go to the report.
No matter what President Trump is doing, giving a speech in Saudi Arabia, meeting with the leader of Israel, or talking about that awful terrorist attack in Manchester, the media's steady focus, kind of a split-screen focus, remains on what I'll just call for shorthand purposes the Russia investigation. But here's the thing. This has gone on for months now, and no evidence has emerged, or virtually no evidence has emerged, about Donald Trump, leaving aside, Mike Flynn and the problems he has, but Donald Trump and what's often referred to in press accounts as collusion with Russia. It's such an interesting word, collusion. What does it consist of? He's colluding with Vladimir Putin. And so the more and more that I look at the news coverage of this whole area in recent weeks, it seems like it's moving away from what was the original media spotlight. Was there some kind of secret, hidden, unholy alliance between Moscow and the Trump campaign that helped him win this election? And now it's moved into more of what the shorthand again would be the cover-up. President Trump fires James Comey. Comey notes, according to news accounts, said that he had asked him, that the president had asked Comey to drop the Mike Flynn investigation. A report in the Washington Post just the other day now saying the president had asked for help from the head of the National Security Agency and from the director of national intelligence to push back against the FBI probe of this whole matter, or of Michael Flynn. And so to the extent that the focus now is on, if you want to take it to the extreme, some alleged possible obstruction of justice by President Trump or a cover-up, I do have to ask this question, a cover-up of what? Now, if you have, it's not like lots and lots of people haven't been prosecuted for lying to investigators or perjury or obstructing justice, even if no underlying crime is proven. But politically speaking, what exactly would the president be covering up if there's no evidence of what's at the core of this story, which is collusion, improper cooperation, secret dealings with Russia? And so politically, it seems to me that because nothing has emerged on that front, more and more of the journalistic focus, the political focus, the Democrats' focus have shifted to, well, clearly he was trying to block this or derail this investigation. Therefore, he must be guilty of something. Well, maybe not. Maybe he made some bad moves. Maybe he shouldn't have had those conversations with Comey. If indeed Comey's account is accurate, remember we haven't heard it from Comey himself. He hasn't testified. The Hill testimony is delayed. We have newspaper accounts of what his memos say as leaked by friends and associates of Comey. So I want to be very careful about this. And at the same time, it's not that these stories about who said what to whom are not legitimate stories. The press is pushing for answers, and that's part of the media's job. But it almost seems like now some are saying it doesn't matter whether there's anything at the heart of it. It doesn't matter whether there was any improper coordination with the Russians. It only matters, that the president was doing things that presidents don't usually do in trying to block an investigation. Well, it does matter in the sense that that's what this was all supposed to be about. So I want to keep that in mind as we look at whether there was any improper actions by Flynn, or the president, or anybody around him. If there's nothing, if there's no there, if there's nothing at the center of it, then politically this could be a bust. Now, legally, in terms of investigations, maybe not. But politically, this might end up not amounting to a hill of beans. I'll reserve judgment. I think the media should reserve judgment as well.
Yeah, the media has already found him guilty. No evidence, no nothing, but he's guilty. And more it comes out, the more the louder they scream. There is no evidence whatsoever out there. And now they're, well, you have no proof. There's no proof that there's no evidence. It's like, oh my God. They're digging deep. They just keep digging deeper and deeper. And yes, it probably won't matter to them. They'll still scream for impeachment. Even though there's no collusion, there's no evidence, there's no nothing, this was made up. No! The problem for the Confederation of Democrats, pundits, and Obama leftovers and never-Trumpers who hope to see that result has been that so far, after a lot of investigation, no evidence has emerged that collusion actually occurred. What we got is third-hand accounts. We have someone calling into a newspaper and saying, I saw something that Comey wrote about what Trump said. That's third person. Do you know how accurate third person is? I don't even trust secondhand. Comey writing down what Trump supposedly said in the court of law. That's hearsay. Prove Trump said those things. And even what he wrote down is not. Obstruction. He's not ordering them. He's not telling him. Even by Comey's words. But we have not heard from Comey. Comey was supposed to testify this past Wednesday. Both sides have their own little theory on why he didn't testify. This will go on. Washington Post, New York Times will continue to write these top secret articles. I still love he gave up top secret information to Russia. And CNN ran with it. But when you look at CNN, it was only like a week or two before, they wrote about the goddamn story of the bomb and the laptops. They did multiple articles over 2 days on it. But then they're going to say that it's top secret information and Trump couldn't talk about it. Well, how in the bloody hell did CNN post public articles about it? They're contradicting themselves. They're showing that just how much of a hypocrite they are. And people are getting a good look. If they actually look, the curtain is peeled back on the Democrat Party. And you can see inside the Democrat Party. And you can see George Soros flipping the switches and pulling the handles. It's understand, this has nothing to do with right versus left, conservative versus liberal. This has to deal with nationalism, caring about your nation, wanting to be just a nation, versus globalism. To being a little peon in the global power of these elitists. That's what it comes down to. Yeah. So this is no longer, and I agree, there is no lone wolves. Everybody is always connected somehow. But the Manchester bomber, I should say, Salman Abedi, is not the only member, and I think they're up to 7 people arrested now. His father has been arrested. His 2 brothers have been arrested. And the investigators have uncovered what they call a plot for a new attack. The father and the brothers were back living in Syria. Back living in Tripoli. They were arrested in Syria. Excuse me. Libyan. Why am I saying Syria? Libyan. Oh, my God. Totally, my mind's off on something else. Sorry. Libya. Of all places. They were arrested on suspicion of links to the Islamic State and was planning a new attack on the Libyan capital. The father of the bomber was arrested in Tripoli on Wednesday. The father, Ramadan Abedi, has said another brother of the bomber, Ismail, was arrested Tuesday in Hazm. Was arrested Wednesday. Salman Abedin spent 3 weeks in Libya prior to the Manchester bombing, returning to England just days before the Ariana Grande concert on Monday, when he launched his attack at the concert venue. Now, I haven't read this, but from what I do know about terrorism and all that, as I said, there is a person that made the bomb. He has to be in England, France, somewhere in that area where it was easy to get the bomb to Abedi, I believe. Let me see if I'm saying that right. Abedi. No, it wasn't that far off. Because as I said, the bomb makers don't blow themselves up. I would go as far as say that Abedi didn't even have control of the bomb, because there was 2 explosions. I'll put money that someone else had their finger on the trigger in that concert hall. And that's not unheard of. This is not lone wolf. The attacks we have, you know what? It all goes back to Islamic terrorism. And a lot of it gets tied to ISIS itself. This is not some jackass that wakes up one morning and says, yeah, I'm Muslim now, and yeah, I'm going to go blow something up. And all these jackasses we're finding out had, whether they flew into the Middle East, spent time there, or just, contact over the internet, they are part of a network. And we got to stop covering it up with the terms of lone wolf. That was a Obama. I'm going to cover it up, make it sound less terroristic. These are not lone wolf attacks. These are terroristic attacks. We're not going to see, and I discussed it last night on Sackhead's radio show, where me and BZ were the host, because Sackhead Clinton, Sackhead Sean couldn't be there. We're not going to see another 9/11, a huge hard target attack. And right after 9/11, they were predicting there wouldn't be another big one. It was going to be multiple small ones. Al-Qaeda admitted, one of their top terrorists admitted, that they didn't realize the response they would get from the United States on such a large attack. They admitted that they were wrong doing that attack, that it elicited a response they did not expect. They didn't expect us to come running over there and beating the shit out of them over in Iraq and Afghanistan. But these small attacks, they don't elicit a major response. I think Manchester is going to elicit a response. I hope it does, because it was children. But I said last night what we're going to see, and they were predicting after 9/11, where we're going to see multiple small target hits in one day. Not in the same area. They're going to hit in a geographical location to overload our responders, to cause mass hysteria. And as an example I gave, if you hit Tampa, Orlando, Daytona, Miami, you start hitting those areas, you're going to overload the system. Yeah, they're going to be able to call mutual aid in, but it's going to really thin mutual aid out. It's going to thin your emergency responders. Because, okay, we have a big incident here in Tampa, which I hope that never happens. You can always call in from Orlando and some other areas. But if you start really hitting it, where you're hitting like a Tallahassee, Orlando, Tampa, these big cities, you're taking resources away and stretching them out. And that causes mass hysteria at that point. That's what we're going to see. I don't know about that attack, Kel, to be honest. So many attacks. I don't think we should have put up with what we did. I don't know if you were there last night. I've said it on my show plenty of times. BZ asked me, and this is my response. The only way we're going to stop ISIS, and I don't think there's enough people have the stomach for this, we're going to have to hit them so hard, so nasty, that it will put the fear of Allah into every single one. It'll put the fear of God in them, that they'll be afraid to mention even the name of the United States. So that their sons will say, we attacked them, and they hit back. And they hit back hard. I don't think anybody has the guts to do such attack. But it's the only way that we're going to end this. Fighting them the way we're fighting them in the hearts and minds is not going to work. Fighting them on a battlefield is not going to work. We have to basically annihilate them and hit them so hard they will fear mentioning the name. They would fear even mentioning their own name. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and I will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cat for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. It's a tough situation we're in, and it's very emotional. And there's no end in sight. Earlier, see, what's this guy's name?
Abdul Basseh Haroun.
And that one. A former security official in Libya told the Associated Press that he personally knew Ramadan Abedi, and that the elder Abedi was a member of the Libyan Islamic fighting group in the 1990s. The group had links to Al-Qaeda. Although the LIFG disbanded, it is said the father belonged to a Salafi jihadist movement, the most extreme sect of Salafism, and from which Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group hail. It is also added that Abedi, also known as... Oh, my God. Hang on. I'm not going to try to butcher these names anymore. I'll let the other wife do it for me.
Abu Ismail.
He had returned to the Libyan capital, Tripoli. The LIFG was founded in 1995 and was involved in attempts to assassinate then Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi, as well as violent clashes with Benghazi police. In 2002, a senior LIFG commander, who also was a companion of Al-Qaeda founder Osama bin Laden, was detained by U.S. forces for his roles in the 1998 bombing of an American embassy in Kenya and Tanzania, which killed more than 200 people. It's amazing to me. The LIFG reportedly teamed up with Moroccan Islamic Combatant Group in planning the May 2003 bombing in Casa in Morocco that killed more than 40 people and injured more than 100. The group has also been linked to the 2004 attacks in Madrid that killed 194 people. Ramadan Abedi, escaped Tripoli in 1993 after Gaddafi's security authorities issued an arrest warrant and eventually sought political asylum in Britain. No, your dog's not giving you queer looks. It just farted. That's all, Kelly. He went to Britain as a terrorist and asked for political asylum. He first immigrated to London before settling in an area south of Manchester, where they had lived for at least a decade. The neighborhood is known to be a home to a number of former LIFG members living in exile, including... hold on. I'm sorry, these names just go beyond my capability, so I'll just let the second wife, deal with it.
Abdel Basset Azouz.
That guy. An expert bomb maker who left Manchester to run a terrorist network in eastern Libya overseen by Ayman al-Zawahiri, Osama bin Laden's successor as leader of Al-Qaeda. Media in the United Kingdom reported in 2014 that
Abdel Basset Azouz
had 200 to 300 militants under his control. Now, in a telephone interview from Tripoli, Ramadan Abed, who is now the administrative manager of Central Security Forces in Libyan capital, denied to the Associated Press that his son is linked to any militant group or the suicide bombing that killed 22 people. Alu Akbar Jr. Hi, this is Alu Akbar Jr. This is Alu Akbar the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. I know, we'll just start calling it 1, 2, 3. Thing 1, thing 2, thing 3. Abdi, the father of the alleged terrorist, said that his family aren't the ones who blow up ourselves among innocents. We don't believe in killing innocents. This is not us. As he's now arrested. Do you think he's going to come out and go, la, 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 my son, yes, he did it. He did it. Oh, praise him. No. It wasn't us. Wasn't me. Oh, what's that old song? Wasn't me. I can't think of it. Oh, God, that's going to... Here it is. Hang on. All right.
Yo, man. Yo. Open up, man. Yo, what you want, man? My girl just caught me. You made her catch you? I don't know how I let this happen.
This playing in the background as they're giving the interview.
I don't know what to do.
So it wasn't you.
All right. Honey came in and she got me red-handed, creepy with the girl next door.
They call me red-handed with the bomb. I blew myself up.
Banging on the bathroom floor. How could I forget that I had...
Hey, I'm not trying to make fun of the killings, but...
All this time she was standing there. She never took her eyes off me. Oh, you been a woman access to your villa.
It's amazing how they just blindly deny when they know they're caught. They're trying to say, well, we knew he was getting a little radicalized, and we took his passport away from him. Bullshit. Wasn't me. Wasn't me. Wasn't me. All right. We got to get back to seriousness here. This was, and it's never a lone wolf attack. As I said, that was a Obama liberal excuse made for the actions of terrorists, so he didn't have to talk about terrorism. I would like to know where the hell the mayor of London is. The one that said that he said you have to get used to these terror attacks. It's part of our lives. It's going to happen. I want to see him say it to one of those fathers' faces. Because if some politician said that to me after I just lost my daughter, that politician would be picking his teeth up and getting his jaw wired shut. Not a big and bad person, but these politicians are in a vacuum too much. They're in a bubble. Stop giving them so much protection. Put them at risk, because that is the only way our politicians are going to take this seriously and stop using it as a political football. When one of them gets attacked, one of their family members gets killed in an attack, you're going to see a different story, and you're going to see a different mission go on. Now, I believe Trump's trying to fight ISIS, but he's meeting a lot of resistance from a lot of people. One of those politicians loses their lives, or their kids, their wives, which I don't want to see, then you'll hear a different story. So I want to touch on one last thing. I only got a couple minutes. Aaron Hernandez, as we all know, committed suicide recently in prison. Now, being in prison, a lot of his finances and everything was locked up because he was a convicted criminal. You would think after being acquitted of a double murder, suicide would be the last thing on his mind. But it's come out pretty much why he did it. His attorney, who's the same cocksucker attorney that got, can't remember her name. She killed her daughter, got away with it here in Florida and Orlando. Either way, what is going on is they were appealing his original conviction. Now, there's a little backdoor law in Massachusetts. He went and killed himself while an appeal was in its process. Now, what happens is that appeal, his conviction automatically gets overturned because there was an appeal and he died during the appeal. The conviction is automatically overturned, so he is no longer a convicted criminal. Even in death, he is no longer a convicted criminal, and all of his assets revert back to his wife. Now, you know why this man killed himself. Now, they're trying to appeal that ruling and trying to keep the conviction. But what he did was try to help his wife and kid out. This man was a criminal. During his 22 months of incarceration in the Bristol County Jail, prison officials charged him with 21 disciplinary offenses, ranging from gang beatings, where he was one of the gang members doing the beatings. He was lookout for gangs. He did this so that his wife could get the money. Upon moving jails, his new prison, he racked up 78 more disciplinary offenses in 12 separate incidents. He got caught with a 6-inch shank. The man is guilty as hell. And his record should not be expunged just because of a technicality. All right, everybody, I will not be here tomorrow. And I'm still undecided about Monday, because Monday is Memorial Day. I might take it off. I might. Listen, everybody have a great weekend. Be safe, and I'll see you either Monday or Tuesday. Have a great weekend. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.